Thank you for joining us for this podcast. My name is Nora Fritz, and I'm the Director of the Neuroimaging and Neurorehabilitation Laboratory at Wayne State University. And I've asked Liz Trapp, the Director of Healthcare Provider Engagement from the National MS Society here in Michigan, to join us to speak a bit about the resources available from the National MS Society. So welcome, Liz.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and happy to share some of the great resources that we have for folks that are participating in some of your programs.
Excellent. So we want to move on and talk a bit about some of these resources that are available. Let me move my screen along. Having some technical issues here. There we go.
So the National MS Society has a nationwide network of offices around the country. So if you're in Michigan, we are located in Southfield. If not, there are certainly chapters across the U.S. and most states. A couple of states, there's maybe more than one. We'll go to the website at the end of this podcast and do some navigation for you, and it's listed right here. There's also access to information, support, and referrals through our Navigator program, MS Navigator program, and you can call that 1-800 number and ask for anything from a referral to a neurologist, to financial assistance, to the latest on MS medications for both MS itself and side effects that you might be experiencing from MS. We can provide any type of literature for you that you want, so you can get it mailed, you can get it emailed, however you choose to receive it. And so I think some people find it more convenient to have it emailed for them. But also, if you're looking at it on your smartphone, it's a little small. So a lot of times it's just personal preference. And then we'll talk about some educational programs that are both in person and online in a couple minutes. Also through the 1-800 number, you can find support programs for self-help groups, peer and professional counseling, and then friendly visitors or friendly phone calls. So that, again, you just call that 1-800 number and ask for that information. I do believe the support self-help groups are listed on the website, so you can find one in your area. And with any of those, we always encourage people to call first in case the air conditioner's broken, the heat's broken, there's a sudden change in plans for that group, they're having a picnic, something like that wouldn't be listed, so that the leader could call you and make you aware of the change. We also have some legal specialists, legal employment insurance specialists that you can speak with for consultation. And again, just calling that 1-800 number. In Michigan, we do have a legal clinic that is over the phone where folks can call and request to have one of our volunteer lawyers call them and give them some information. And sometimes what they are really asking, or what folks are asking, is, do I need a lawyer? Do I have a case? Is there, is this workplace discrimination, or is this just kind of bad luck? Or, how do I file for Social Security disability? Where do I go? And those lawyers are helpful in talking about that. Also, when you think about long-term care, a lot of it is really planning, and a lot of these folks can talk to you about, what should I do? What should I be thinking about? What are my next steps? Is my home going to be feasible for my life down the road? Or do I need to be looking at something different? How do I plan financially? All of those things can be covered. We actually have some real nice guidebooks that people can have access to, so they can start their planning at really any stage.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that overview. I did want to put up again the website and the phone number for calling the National MS Society, just for your reference. And now we'll go ahead and navigate to the website. We're going to pull it up here and take a look at how to navigate around the website a little bit and access some of the resources that Liz spoke with you about. So Liz, can you tell us first where we might find our own local MS chapter and how to get a hold of them?
Sure. If you go to In Your Area and click on it, and you go down here and you can either enter your zip code or do your state. And I'm just going to do my zip code here. And it'll show In Your Area. And for example, in Michigan, we have one location. And for those of you that didn't know, we have recently moved, so that new address is on there. Then you can just click on Michigan here, and it'll pull up all of our state-specific information. And as I'm scrolling down here, you can see there is a calendar. So any types of programs or information will be found here. So, for example, on August 4th was Muckfest Detroit. And there was the MS First Annual NASCAR MIS Orange Out event. And as you go on, you see the Midwest or the West Michigan Conference. And then there's a monthly educational webinar series. And this is something I didn't mention before, but it's part of Can Do MS. And they do some great programming. And you can click on here where it says more info. Anything that's in red will light up, as you see right there, so you could register or find out more info. And these are cool webinar series.
Oops. Just click off to the side.
That you can have access to. So actually, is today the 14th? Yep, actually, so tonight there's a Progressive MS webinar, and these are all stored on the website, so you can go back and listen to them.
Oh, that's helpful.
And just since it popped up right now here, there's something that says chat now. So you can actually chat with, live chat with an MS Navigator, and you enter your name and your email. And this would be, I would use this typically if there's like a quick question I have, or if you are trying to find something on the website. So for example, like where are the where are the descriptions of the different medications or side effects that could potentially happen from MS, and for whatever reason you can't find it, you can shoot them a message and they will respond essentially immediately to your question or concern. If you have something more in depth, like you're looking for a list of referrals, I would recommend calling. But if you're looking for, where to find the self-help groups or a calendar item, they can certainly help you out and navigate through the website. Again, if you're looking for something like financial assistance, you would want to give a call. So we can just shrink that down.
It's a helpful tool, and you just minimize it, and it'll sit down here at the bottom of your window. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can click on it, and one of the experts will be able to help you find it.
That's right, yeah. And so here's the calendar again, and let's go back up here to the to this menu. So services and support, I'm just going to click on a few of these. Oh, this is groups and discussion. We can go there. Again, this talks about the support groups that I mentioned. So we'll click on this one in Livonia every Friday, and this is recurring. It shows you where it is, and it gives you the phone number to call, so that you can get the information as to times and place. So we're going to go back to Chapter Home again, and let's go to services and support. So this splits it into different categories. So health and wellness, which is something that you guys got a lot of information on recently, but talking about staying healthy, family relationships. Here's the financial resources, employment insurance and financial planning, social emotional support. And with the social emotional support, I did not mention there's also an online support group, and you have to register for it. So not just anybody can go into that group. It's actually a closed group that you have to be accepted into. So that's kind of neat for some folks who choose to get their support in that way. Also, we get a lot of questions on clinical trials and research. And so there is definitely a section there to give you some information on what we have going on. And there's a couple different ways to do that. So you can look at some recorded webcasts. You can look at clinical trials in MS. You can find clinical trials. And so if you wanted to do that, you can view that. And if there's a particular topic that you're looking for to participate in, or just to check in on what research is going on, you can fill it in that area. So there are quite a few, as you can see here, studies, and some of them go across the country, some of them are state specific. So you can enter your information in there, and that'll bring it up for you. Is there anything else, Nora, that you wanted me to show on the website?
I think that's good for the specific chapters, and I really like that you pointed out how to participate in clinical research. I think majority of the trials that are listed here are pharmaceutical trials, but I think it's important for individuals to also know that you can look for trials on the NIH website, so
That's right.
the government's website, they post all clinical trials that are happening across the country, so you might be able to find particularly like rehab related trials in your area through that website. As far as educational resources, would you be able to show us where we might listen to archived topics from the Can Do MS series?
Yeah, so as you see, Robin just popped up and again is happy to chat with us if we would like as an MS navigator. So let's go up to the top here. So if we go up to resources and support and we look here at library and education programs, we can see quite a few things listed here. So there's a email newsletter, mood changes in MS. We can look at, that was Momentum. Webinar series here. Let's make sure I get it right this time. There we go.
Just click off to the side.
Okay, so this lists the topics here, and then
just click off to the side.
Okay, click that off to the side. So then, okay, so that tells you how to register for them, and then where are the archived ones? Oh, here they are, right where it says archive. So we can just click on there, and you can click on one of these. So let's say we were interested in accessible travel basics from planning to execution. So then we can go down here and download the recording and the PowerPoint presentation, and you can listen to it, or if you, let's say you did listen to it and you wanted the PowerPoint, you can go on there and click on that and it would bring up the PowerPoint presentation. So that gives you all those wonderful webinars from Can Do MS. And then also, I believe there is right here under educational videos.
Again, just off to the side.
Okay, so here you can click Watch Now, and it will talk about resilience and MS. Okay, and there you go. So you can see the opening feature of that. And this was also an in-person program that was offered. Each year it's called the North American Education Program. Each year the MS Society does a big program like this, and it's done across the country at different sites and locations. And so after that is all kind of rolled out, then you do have the opportunity to go on and look at those programs.
That's an excellent resource.
Yeah. And
Great.
so if you
and
look
I
here
will
too,
also
yeah.
point out for anyone that's interested, there are excellent resources for children and families, and for managing and dealing with an MS diagnosis in a parent that I think can be quite helpful. So if you have specific questions about that, you can always chat with the navigator, or also just search around the website for those resources because they are available.
And I will say as well that a lot of our materials were either recently updated or are being updated. So a lot of the stuff that you'll see on here, if you've been on the website before, I would encourage you to go back on and just check, because I think a lot of things will be updated, new, and different. And so you can always find stuff here, or you can always, again, hit the chat now feature and ask a navigator, hey, is there anything new that's come out recently? And they can certainly direct you to that and say, actually, yes, here's some news that we want to share with folks. So it's definitely in there as well.
Perfect. I think this may be a good segue to talk a little bit about some of the consultation programs, including insurance and long-term care. I'm seeing the legal and financial planning educational video here. But perhaps you could show us a little bit about where we might find resources regarding insurance and long-term care.
Okay. So here's some of the videos. And then also if we go back up to resources and support, right here, there are, if you click find support, that will take you definitely to like the navigator. If you would like advanced care or resources for a specific population, we'll go with advanced care right now.
Just right there. I don't know why it's doing that.
You can look at identifying options, learning to redefine and control independence, dealing with emotional ups and downs, managing other health conditions. As we know, just because you have MS, it doesn't mean that you can't become diabetic or have cancer or any of those things. Avoiding complications, caregiver challenges, and this is the big one right here that I talked about, planning for the future. So this is one that we like to talk about a lot, that as the MS Society, but people don't really like to talk about it a lot. So we talk about advanced directives, adapting financial planning for life with MS, caring for loved ones with advanced MS, finding care away from home. They can give you advice on finding care in home, about things like Medicaid waiver, all of those. Someone can walk you through that step by step, and there are people that really specialize in those areas. So if you call and talk to the navigator and you have a really specific question, one of the things they may do is say, you know what, right now our expert on that is on the phone or is not available. Can you give me a phone number and a good time to call you back? And we'll have them call you back. So, for some of those specific things, it may take a call back. But I think what you'll find is when you get that, especially from those folks that are in that benefits and employment team, I think it's really good information, and it gives them some time to look up and be prepared for the call, so that they're not doing it while you're on the phone. So I think that's always excellent, and it's something that we should all do, and especially those that are living with MS.
So if you wanted help from the National MS Society for case management and potentially a referral for some assistance from the National MS Society, where might you go to get that information? So
the best thing to do is to call the 1-800 number, and they will walk you through that. There's a list of screening questions that they will go through with you to find out what level of assistance you need, both for, is it something that can be solved over the phone, even though you may not think it is. There's, the world has changed now. There's so much we can do over a computer and over the phone. Or is it really where a case manager needs to go into the home? And so I think what happens from there is you're asked a series of questions, kind of talk about what's going on, what are the potential challenges, and finding out what resources that we have in the area. And there are, as it shows here, the Edward M. Dowd Personal Advocate Program, and that really, we got a donation from Mr. Dowd, and he was really helped by having a case manager come into his home and help get some things figured out and get him back on the right path. As far as financial assistance, there are many things. Often people will say, well, what do you cover? And what we usually just say is, just ask, because we've been able to open up our categories quite a bit. So for example, you may need some assistance with a lift on your vehicle, or you may need some assistance for the driving courses to drive the modified vehicles. And so one of the things that we can do is if we don't cover that particular item, maybe MS Foundation or MSAA covers it, or if it's a bigger expense, maybe we can work with other organizations to come together to get the funding needed for that one item. So I always say don't hesitate to ask, and if it's something that's on the list that we absolutely can't cover, then they'll go through a series of questions. Is there something that you're paying for that we could cover that would free up the money so that then you can afford the other expense? So I think too, there are some things that we don't realize might be covered by insurance that really are, because we've never had to use them before. So I think that's definitely one of the things that the navigators go through with folks. And there's some statewide and nationwide partnerships that we've created with different organizations to provide support and resources. And so there's definitely a lot out there, a lot available if you're having, trouble paying a bill, or if you're, say you were in a, say you had to go to a long-term care facility, but, maybe you fell and you had a break and you had to stay there for a while and you lost your apartment because of that. But you can pay your day-to-day expenses, you can pay your rent, but to move to a different location or an apartment that better suits you, maybe you can't afford the security deposit. And so again, that would be a great call to make to the MS Society, where maybe the MS Society can provide assistance, but if not, they're tapped into resources that can.
So because I mostly see individuals with MS in the setting of exercise and physical activity, one of the common questions that we get is there anyone that can help to purchase a cooling vest, or to help with air conditioning to keep my apartment cool so that I'm able to exercise in the hot, humid Michigan summer?
Yeah.
Can you comment on those at all?
Sure. Cooling vests, I know we work with an outside vendor on those, but those are something that's definitely doable. And like I said, sometimes it depends on where you live as far as who provides the funding for those, because there's different vendors across the country, but definitely air conditioners are a big thing. And, there are partnerships as well with different appliance companies that can get a room air conditioner or a window air conditioner. I think, just to give an example, there was someone living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they were granted at their workplace a what's the word? A modification where they could work from home. So they were allowed to work from home, I think in the morning or whatever it was, or if it was, just not the right conditions for them, but they didn't have air conditioning in the home. So they were able to call the MS Society, get an air conditioner for that office room. So then the person could work from home. An accommodation, that's what
Excellent.
It's called. So those are some good examples of things that, maybe the air conditioner, the room air conditioner doesn't cost a ton of money, but it's not an extra expense somebody can have. But yet it's able to provide some really lasting long-term impact.
Absolutely.
So then that person can work from home one day a week, or maybe even permanently work from home.
Right.
And it's not an issue in the winter months, but in the summer it is. So that, again, is something that can really help somebody continue to work, continue to feel like they're doing what they want to do, but yet taking care of themselves.
So I think what I'm hearing from you, to summarize, is that if you have a question or you have an expense that you're concerned about, it's always worth asking.
That's right. That's right.
It is maybe likely that the National MS Society might be able to help with that.
Right.
So it's always worth asking.
And I do feel like if it's something that we can't help with, that we do a really good job of trying to find somebody who can.
Right. Excellent. I think the last thing I wanted to touch on was some of the programs that are near and dear to my heart, which are the Free from Falls program and the Building Better Balance program. So for those of you who aren't familiar with these programs, these are really excellent resources that the National MS Society provides free of charge to all individuals. You're able to download them and use them as a webinar series to actually do some of your own home exercise and home rehabilitation, with the caveat that you need to make sure that you're doing it in a safe way. So it helps to have somebody with you just in case you're concerned about losing your balance or falling. So we always want to keep everybody safe. But these resources, I think, are just really excellent ways to kind of keep up with your physical rehabilitation when you're not presently seeing a therapist. So I'd love for Liz to just point out to us where to find the information about Free from Falls and Building Better Balance so that everyone can take advantage of it.
So we're going to show the search function here, and we're just going to type in Free from Falls and search it here. And if we scroll down, hey, there we go. So when it shows multiple, typically, and here I'm pointing at the screen, but you can't see me, but the top one is general. And if you look at the second one, it talks about the Southern California and Nevada chapter works to improve. So that would talk about like that's their calendar item. So if you see, if move over just a little bit, it says calendar on there. That's when it's offered there. So the general information would be found in the above. And if we just click on that, there you go.
So you can see that this is a comprehensive fall prevention program with specific objectives. And the program structure is 8 webinars, and you can download all of them here to learn more about how to manage falls. And they include videos with exercises that are meant to be performed 3 to 4 times a week and improve balance and endurance. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of this program. I think it's really excellent. If you are seeing a therapist presently and you'd like them to incorporate some of this information into your therapy, I would encourage you to talk to your therapist about this program so that they can take a look at it and make sure that all of these principles are being incorporated into your wellness program. And then if you look off to the side here, you can see that there's a link to the Building Better Balance program. So we'll take a peek at that. And again, it also has an overview and some useful tools to be before you begin. You should talk to your healthcare provider, make sure this is a safe program for you. And then as we mentioned, you want to be safe while you're doing it. So stay hydrated, stay in a cool environment, take rest breaks, and listen to your body as you're doing it. And you have to agree to do it in a safe way before you can continue. So make sure that you've read all of this material before you start. But again, these are 2 really excellent resources to help you stay safe at home and in the community and hopefully reduce your fall risk overall.
Yeah, and I think the feedback from both of these programs, from both the side of the rehab professional and those that participate in it, find it very, very helpful. And again, it's something you can do from home. Occasionally we'll offer some in-person programs that in-person free from falls, but here's where you can get it and do it when it's convenient for you, really.
Excellent. Liz, are there any other resources you'd like to mention?
The only thing that I'd like to mention is just to mention again the phone number and the website address, if we could go back to that, and really just reach out if you have any questions or concerns. On the website, it also, just to put a plug in there, I mean, there's definitely the walk and bike events and things like that are listed on there, and occasionally there's someone that's doing like an independent fundraiser for something for the MS Society, so feel free to just look around and don't hesitate to use that chat function. Some people, get nervous about that kind of thing, but it's definitely legitimate and it's definitely secure, so you can feel safe in that. And there's also a way you can email as well. So we always encourage people to reach out. And on the flip side of it, if you're seeing a rehab professional and you talk to them about the MS Society and they want to get more information, you can certainly have them call us as well, and they can get information, and there's a professional corner there. So any professional that you're seeing, if there's questions or family members or anything like that, there's also resources on what is MS and that kind of thing on there, and you just click on it or type it in the search function. But yeah, no, I really appreciate being able to come here and talk about this and provide this in a recorded way so you guys can listen to it whenever you want.
Yes, thank you so much, Liz. We really appreciate it. We hope this is helpful to people, and if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact the National MS Society. They will be happy to answer anything that you have.
Great.
All right, thank you.